Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist Church. We are so excited and happy that you're here. I'm Chris Tackett. I always like to stop and say good morning and remind you all, even though it's 2024, y'all know what to do with these things. And for those of you traveling and getting back after Thanksgiving, and those of you who found yourself dragged here on a Sunday morning with friends or relatives, we're glad you're here. I think it's safe to say you're right where you're supposed to be.
It is a beautiful day outside with the sun shining and warm enough. And yet, the night is long and growing longer. Over the last month here in the Sonoran Desert, there have been an additional 23 minutes of night. You might have noticed. And before we reach the winter solstice, the night will grow to its peak, 11 hours and 2 minutes. People of many different faiths and cultures fill this time with celebrations of light. And we together then bring to life ancient stories of the Christ child, of the Holly King and the Oak King, of the Maccabean revolt and 8 nights of miracles. Through rituals and festivities, we begin to remember, the noise is just popping in a little bit. We begin to remember that through the longest night, the light will always return. And I don't know about any of you, but I really need that reminder right now. Welcome. Welcome here to Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation. I'm Reverend Matthew, the minister and pastor alongside all of you. Now today we had invited the Dancing in the Streets Arizona Ballet School and Company to come and share their beautifully diverse, incredibly equitable, wonderfully inclusive Nutcracker Ballet with us today and lead us into this long night with dancing. However, in their intense rush to prepare for a truly magical nutcracker that brings to life their vision, changing minds and changing lives, one jeté at a time, they didn't have that extra magic that we all need to get over this cold and flu thing going around. And so earlier this week, they sent their deepest regrets that they would not be joining us this morning. And so Chris, our music director, Alex, our pastoral associate, and I have been doing some last-minute dancing, and metaphorically. You don't want us in tights dancing the Nutcracker. And instead, we've chosen to explore the blessings of the season of dark itself. The blessing of rest, of our dreaming, and of the generative creation, all of which arise in the dark. The creation story of this land that we call Sonoran begins in a long night. The Thana Otham people who, like the Yaqui, have lived with this land for centuries. In their ongoing and reviving culture, they orient creation, the beginning of all desert things, on the long night of this peak, Wawe Gali Lagwe. It is their most sacred mountain southwest of here. Dr. Ophelia Zepeda, a Thana Otham elder and professor emeritus of the University of Arizona, shares her poetry that in visiting this sacred mountain in place begins with humility and with prayer. She writes, "Before we do anything else, we open our voices to a greater being. We say we are grateful for being allowed to be here in wonder, and like flooding water, the requests for gifts begin. We ask for strength. We ask for health. We ask for goodness. And finally, we feel a need to justify our requests. We begin again. We ask for strength to complete the things we have started to do with our lives. We ask for health so that we may walk with a sturdy step, a good breath, and clean light in our eyes. We ask for goodness so that we have open minds, open hearts. We ask for patience to deal with all of those who require it and pass it on to those who are impatient. We ask for forgiveness so that we can forgive those who require it and pass it on to those who are unforgiving." And that's how we begin as well. In the presence of something greater than ourselves, of many names and of no name, in the presence of community, in the presence of our lives. Here at Mountain Vista, we seek a relationship with indigenous people to learn what we hold in common, honor our differences, and to live together here in these, their unceded desert lands. And so we move into the season of night. We begin as they have taught, and that is in gratitude with hope for the many gifts that it brings. Gratitude for many gatherings throughout this month, like this one today, as we gather in person or on Zoom or later through a recording. There are so many who make these gatherings possible: our welcomers, our audiovisual team, our hospitality, our music, our religious exploration, all of these led by staff or membership leaders who give of their time and their talent throughout the season, that we bring our energies together and that we can explore the long night's generative power of rest and of dream. And so to all of you, thank you. We gather in gratitude for the wonder and the delight and the power this season holds. The night is long and growing longer, but together we are open to its many blessings. It is good that we have gathered. In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. The earth stirred hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow on snow on snow, in the bleak midwinter, long, long ago.
This is the season when the dark is growing strong, reaching its peak at the winter solstice on December 21st. On December 22nd, the Earth begins tilting the northern hemisphere gradually back towards our sun. The light begins to grow stronger, and every creature in the northern hemisphere celebrates the rebirth of light. Jews have Hanukkah, pagans have Yule, Christians have Christmas.
For some of us, the light is a symbol that can represent the light of reason by which we find our way in life. We honor reason in our tradition and rebel against any faith system that demands that we put aside our need for things to make sense. And for others, the light can represent the light of the Spirit that ebbs and flows inside us as we feel sometimes drained and dusty, and other times energetic and enthusiastic and supple. Some times of our lives are spirited times, and other times are dispirited times.
As we contemplate the meaning of the dark times and the light times, the earth-based traditions would caution us against using the dark times as a symbol for all that is negative. If we use darkness to speak about ignorance, depression, and evil, we speak as if it would be best to have no darkness at all, to have light all the time. That would be awful. There's a season for dark and a season for light.
Is it possible, then, that there is a time to feel energetic and a time to feel drained in the rhythm of life? A time to let life and energy flow outward from you, and a time to let it flow inward? Maybe the ebb and flow of spirit is a rhythm that is good to feel. Maybe in our growing into wholeness, there is a time to feel dry and dusty, hard as iron like the winter ground, and stony as winter water.
Maybe instead of worrying and suffering over those feelings, we could settle into them, knowing that there is a time for cold and a time for warmth, a time to be energetic, a time to rest, a time to grow, and a time to stay where you are, and a time for the light of reason, and a time for other ways of knowing.
Maybe we could walk in beauty and balance more easily if we would welcome the dark time, trusting that when it reaches its full strength, the things will tilt their way back in the other direction.
Nothing stays the same in the flow of things.
All things seek their balance and rhythm.
The wheel will always turn.
The light will always be reborn.
We need not be afraid.
This month, as humans have done for thousands of years, we can bid goodbye to the dark in peace and greet the rebirth of the light with rejoicing.
And one of the great ways we rejoice is by standing and singing. Beautiful tune by Gustav Holst on an original poem by Christina Rossetti, but with some modifications by you people. The beautiful hymn number 241 in our gray hymnal, In the Bleak Midwinter. In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan, earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long ago, Christ a homeless stranger, so the gospel say, cradled
sacrificed. Mary and her baby, Jesus Christ. Once more child and mother, weave the magic spell, touching hearts with wonder, words can never tell. In the bleak midwinter, in this world of pain, where our hearts are open, love is born again.
As we know, stories of light and of dark are not at all the same. They arise from distinct faiths and unique cultures, experiences from our human ancestors in different environments and contexts, told and retold over generations to become, as Joseph Campbell called them, public dreams. While public dreams often swirl and mix, such as we just sang, where we brought midwinter into the springtime birth of Jesus of Nazareth. It's one of my favorites, though. Our secular faith invites us to recognize and to honor these differences among faiths, the differences among cultures, as distinct with their meanings and their blessings. And similarly, we respect and honor the distinct beliefs and blessings, the practices of our members, our friends, and yes, all of you who are our guests. Your life experience is important and vital to us. The Reverend Rod Richards, a dear friend and colleague of our congregation, puts it this way: we believe what you think is so important, we will not dictate it to you. Hopefully that is a refreshing statement in today's world. And instead of what you believe, it is our relationships that we hold most sacred. Our relationships between the light and the dark, reason and faith, spirited and dispirited, hard and soft, cold and warm, future and past, bleak and beautiful, dancing and resting, joy and sorrow, celebration and comfort. And so each week we pour out waters, a symbol of our relationships, water we have collected from Sonoran skies, from around the world and from our homes. And then we drop in stones, recognizing our individual experiences of joy and of sorrow. We drop in stones for unnamed joys among us. And then we drop in stones for unspoken sorrows. So with water and with stones, we call one another to respond, to celebrate our many joys, to comfort our sorrows through the loving kindness of our congregation. In this, our pastoral care team, who shares in leading our ritual every Sunday, they lead us in our congregational response. And we invite you to contact us if we can be assistance to you individually, or that we can bring our congregation together and through our relationships respond to your needs. It was with our pastoral care's guidance that we created the Holiday Blues Tree as a congregation this last week. And throughout the month, we want to invite you to come to the tree, and when you find the one that speaks to you, take a bulb home. Take it home and hang it, perhaps in your car or someplace in your house, maybe even on your tree as well, as a reminder that through this month we are with you and you are with us.
Autumn dances. Yep, I met the okay autumn. Okay, he could have must my boy hamia pagaju. Up the kaju oi or God met the bokaichit. Oiko, tahawa masi. Oiko, o morkavi is a kinyanya. Oiko, a tahawa ichushak dash. Oiko, o morkavi is a chuhuk. Oiko. It is time for the ritual to dance, to sing, so that rain may come, so that the earth may be fixed one more time. Throughout the night, a night too short for such important work, the people converge energies. They call upon the night, they call upon the stars in the darkness, they call upon the hot breezes, they call upon the heat coming off the earth. They implore all animals, the ones that fly in the sky, the ones that crawl upon the earth, the ones that walk, the ones that swim in the water, and the ones that move in between water, sky, and earth. They implore them to focus on the moisture. All are dependent. From the dark dryness of the desert, on that one night the call of the people is heard. It is heard by the oceans, winds, and clouds. All respond sympathetically. Throughout the night you hear the one who is assigned yelling, Oigo, before it becomes light. Oigo, there are still songs to be sung. Oigo, before the sun comes up. Oigo, there's still a little bit of night left. With the dawn we face the sunrise. We face it with all our humility. We are mere beings. All we can do is extend our hands toward the first light. In our hands we capture the first light. We take it and cleanse ourselves. We touch our eyes with it. We touch our faces with it. We touch our hair with it. We touch our limbs. We rub our hands together. We want to keep this light with us. We are complete with this light. This is the way we begin and end things.
I invite you now to a time of meditation. Whoever you are, wherever you are at, whenever you are listening, you are welcome. Join in a moment of breath and of rest. Breathe in and out just a little longer. In allowing for the ebb and flow of your body. And rest. Rest into your chair, into your community. Rest into your ancestry. Don't deny it. You need rest, and you are worthy of it. You are deserving of rest. The Reverend Tricia Hersey of the Knapp Ministries teaches, we are not resting to be productive. We are resting simply because it is our divine right to do so. Reverend Tricia teaches the blessings of rest, body healing, soulful dreaming. These resist grind culture. And long night will end. Day will come again. New blessings, new resistance come with the light. But for now, for the longest nights, receive the blessings of rest. Welcome the blessings of dreams.
Kind listener, whatever be your name, I beg you to call to mind the table covered with your last Christmas gifts in their newest gloss as they first appeared to your delighted vision. You will then be able to imagine the astonishment of the children as they stood with sparkling eyes, unable to utter a word for the joy at the sight before them. So begins E.T.A. Hoffmann's 1860 short story of young Maria Stahlbaum and her dream, which has become the world's most popular ballet. Before there was a holiday tradition of sugar plum fairies and international sweets dancing to Tchaikovsky's score, there is Maria's dream of the battle between the Nutcracker and the Mouse King. Of all the gifts on Christmas Eve, it is a nutcracker that is Maria's favorite thing. The longer Maria gazed upon the little man who she had taken a liking to at first sight, the more she sensed how much good nature and friendliness was expressed in his features. Nothing but kindness and benevolence shone in his clear violet, though somewhat too prominent eyes, Hoffmann narrates. Adoring the little doll, Maria stays up to midnight, playing long after the hours others have gone to bed. She begins to hear and see strange and wonderful occurrences, marking the start of her dream. The grandfather clock sounds midnight. Dickory, dickory, dock, whir, softly clock. Mouse King has a fine ear. Prr, prr, pum. The old song, let him hear. Prr, prr, pum. Or he might run away in fright. Now clock strikes softly at light. The skitterings and squeakings of mice around the edges of the room and under the furniture begin to mass themselves into a horde. And if you had seen what Maria now beheld, you would certainly have run away. Close before her feet, there burst out of the sand and lime and crumbled wall stones as if thrown up by some subterranean force. 7 mice heads with 7 sparkling crowns rose out of the floor, squeaking and squealing terribly. Presently, the mouse's body to which these 7 heads belonged worked its way out, and the great mouse, crowned with the 7 diadems, squeaking loudly, advanced to meet his army, which set itself in motion. And quick as a flash, up jumped the Nutcracker. Grateful for the love and attention that Maria has given him, he rouses all the toys to protect her from a coming horde. My loving vassals, friends and siblings, will you stand by me in the hard fight, he calls, and in response the toys assemble themselves into a defensive army. Just in time, too, for the moment the ranks were ordered, dolls and tin soldiers, harlequins and toy drummers, the battle begins. Each corps fought with the greatest animosity, and the victory was for a long time doubtful. The Mouse King and mice squeaked and screamed, and now and then the mighty voice of the Nutcracker was heard, as he gave the necessary orders, and he was seen striding along through the battalions in the hottest of fire. The toys fought valiantly, yet the terrible numbers of the Mouse King swell and press, swell and press, swell and press, until the Nutcracker was alone before his enemy. Nutcracker, now completely surrounded by the foe, was in the greatest peril, and the Mouse King, squeaking from his 7 throats, leaped in triumph towards him. Oh, my poor Nutcracker, Maria cried, sobbing, and without being exactly conscious of what she did, grasped her left shoe and threw it in with all her strength into the thickest of the mice, straight at their king. In an instant, all seemed scattered and dispersed, but Maria sank into the swoon floor. Maria wakes in her own bed into the comfort and safety of Christmas Day. In the winter daylight, she will come to learn the mystery of the Nutcracker's identity, and she saves him again through her love and care. For she alone perceives his true kindness and bravery inside his wooden appearance, and she rescues him by loving him for all that he is. It is Hoffmann's original tale, Maria's Midnight Dream on Christmas Eve, that inspired the many written adaptations and music and choreography and ballets and films, which has become popular mythology, the public dream of this season. In all the adaptations following the original, the dream does not end, with Maria saving the Nutcracker with the throw of her shoe, but continues in a journey to the kingdom of sweets, with the music and dancing of sugar plums and chocolates, candy canes and marzipan sweets. However it is told, it is the midwinter dream of favorite things, and a fear of losing them that continues to resonate with many, and a determination to save them, if even through small action, is told and retold annually. Certainly, today the draw of the Nutcracker is in its art, in its music and dancing, but its power is in the dream, a dream of facing terrifying fears, a dream of perceiving others clearly, a dream of struggle, that through our actions, no matter how small, we win and awaken to the light. May we share in this dream now and in the days to come.
How are your dreams lately? Yeah. Me too. Because when I sleep, if I sleep, and happen to remember them, my dreams are not so good recently. Mostly filled with imagery and anxiety about the future. Certainly, I prefer insomnia at times. I don't know if that rings true for you as well. I've certainly found that learning something new, taking that time when I'm awake, is so much better and anxious dreams. This week I was curious about dreams themselves, and so in the middle of the night, using the little magic box, I Googled, why do we dream? And it turns out we don't know. Isn't that some kind of wonderful? That neurobiologists have studied what dreams do as we rest through the long night, but why we dream is a mystery. We know that alongside the ones that fly in the sky, the ones that crawl on the earth, the ones that walk, the ones that swim in the water, and the ones that move in between water and sky and earth, we dream. We dream to organize our memories. We dream to work through powerful emotions, and we dream to imagine solutions to tomorrow's challenges. And yet, we don't know why. We don't know why all vertebrates, when they come to rest, have evolved to dream. The mystery has been explored through human history, of course, in story and in myth and in legend. And in mystery, dreams then are gateways to the past and to the future. They bring us gifts of clarity from our ancestors. They express deep feelings, sometimes of shame or fear or anger or grief. And they predict and they prophesy what is yet to come. It's interesting that the myth and the legend and the science are very close. But this mystery of dreams, the weird and the strange, sometimes anxious and often beautiful, this is what the Reverend Michael Dowd, a United Church of Christ minister, calls night language. Night language is our means to communicate mystic memories, metaphorical meanings, or even figurative futures. These are all other ways of knowing that he contrasted with day language, our methods of communicating fact and evidence-based conclusions and objective reality. And where our night language names personal experiences of mystery and expresses them in stories and poetry, art, in music, or even in dance. Day language allows us to objectively share reality as math and science, philosophy, history, and critical thinking. And it's in between, then, day language and night language, that we live, within memory and history, within emotions and reason, intuition and evidence, subjective and objective. This is where this secular faith community thrives. Both languages are vital and necessary, just as both waking and dreaming states of consciousness are vital and necessary, affirms Reverend Michael in his book, Thank God for Evolution. Like all animals, he continues, we cannot survive without dreaming. It is a necessary function of our brain. Sleep is not enough. We must be allowed to dream. It's interesting that he says it that particular way. We must be allowed to dream. As if someone, something would threaten that, would take away our dreaming, this vital and necessary part of our being that we share with so many animal species. Well, Reverend Tricia, in her NAP ministry, she says something similar and then goes on. She says, when we put our bodies in the space of healing together and honoring it through rest, we are doing so much for our future, for our liberation. I don't think that we can get there without looking at rest for what it is. It is a dream space, and I believe that it's been stolen from us. Rest itself, in our grind culture, a culture of caste, a culture of capitalism, it wants simply four things from us: to work, buy, consume, and die. These have no space to dream, no time to heal. And there is no right, divine or otherwise, to rest. This is our waking nightmare. It is long in coming, and it is growing longer. It is growing longer. This nightmare denies our inherent worth and dignity. It isolates us from one another. And worn out by work and buy, consume and die, despairing, it pits us against one another. We are living through a time where this is rising in its power. It's coming out of the woodwork, and we're seeing it as we see these very corporate logos, like that Mouse King emerging out of the walls. And in the light of day, there is much work, so much work to fight back against systems of oppression and injustice. There is so much to be done. And yet, in the dark of night, there is still the possibility for us to rest, and in resting, find that blessing of dreaming. Dreaming to receive our ancestors' messages of story and song and dance. Dreaming to face terrifying realities. Absolutely. Not to turn away. These are not dreams of escape, but they are dreams of struggle through actions, no matter how small, that we would win through, end the nightmare, and awaken to the light. This in the season of dark, I invite you to join me in resting and in dreaming. We can dream of the daytime strength. Daytime strength to block the suffering that's coming, break the lies that are many, bridge the divides that we witness and we feel every day, and build some new yet unimagined future together. We can dream of that strength. We can dream of health so that we can continue our hard work, but also that we know when it is time to rest. Something that's been stolen from us. You know when it is time for your body to rest, because you are worthy. And we can dream together of goodness. Just that. Goodness. And so I invite you to join me through this season of long nights to dream. To dream that we may know the blessings of the long night of resting and of dreaming, that our minds and hearts be open through this long dark.
Beautiful song. Rachel Bates wrote the words, Jason Shelton wrote the music. 1055 in our Teal hymnal. How sweet the darkness. Rise with me, as feels appropriate to you, and sing with us.
Pursue their proper flight, and bring not terror but delight. When clouds are innocent again, and hide no storms of deadly rain. And when the sky is swept of wars, and keeps the gentle moon and stars, that peaceful sky, that harmless air, how sweet the darkness there.
This year, our annual theme is Don't Fear the Future. Not because we do not have fears, but because our love for our world is so much greater, and this would direct our actions. Engaging and loving, we transform the future in many ways. We transform the future by bridging and building new tomorrows alongside those who are from different backgrounds and hold different values. Each month, we take a collection for an organization that is actively doing this important work. Dancing in the Streets Arizona could not be here with us today. They are our Woven Basket partner for December. They have been breaking barriers and challenging preconceived notions about who can participate in ballet for the past 17 years. Dancers of all ages, genders, and abilities come together to showcase their passion for movement, illustrating that the beauty of ballet lies in its ability to connect people from diverse backgrounds.
We use the power of dance to transform lives.
We serve all students from 3 to 103, including children with incarcerated parents and with serious physical or developmental difficulties.
Ballet is a beautiful form of art, but it's also a discipline. Our students learn life skills and break down cultural barriers.
Our students discover they can do more than they ever thought possible, not just during rehearsals, recitals, and shows, but in school, in their families, and in our community.
On December 21st and 22nd at the Temple of Music and Art, there will be a present, the Nutcracker Ballet, a celebration of inclusive ballet. This unique production brings together a cast of exceptionally talented dancers and professionals who represent a rich tapestry of backgrounds, abilities, and experiences. Breaking away from traditional ballet stereotypes, the performance redefines the art form, making it accessible and welcoming to all. This inclusive ballet performance is not just a spectacle for the eyes, but a celebration of the human spirit, resilience, and the power of dance to unite communities. It sends a powerful message that the arts should be a space where everyone is welcome, celebrated, and given the opportunity to shine. All this month, we will take a collection of Dancing in the Streets Arizona. As you leave our sanctuary, for our fellowship refreshments, you will see a woven basket. Donations for Dancing in the Streets can be placed there. Next to the woven basket Next to the basket is a wooden bowl for your gifts for the ongoing work of our congregation. All your gifts are gratefully received.
This year, on December 23rd, the night before, a Monday night, before Christmas Eve, we're having our winter chill. This is an opportunity to come together and just be quiet together. There'll be music, there'll be opportunities for crafts. It's a good idea. You can bring books to read, you can bring last-minute Christmas cards to address and stamp and get out. All the last-minute things that you wish to accomplish quietly, but in fellowship with others here. On Monday evening, December 23rd, we will have snacks and some other things you're welcome to bring, anything you'd like to share. And in the sanctuary here, we'll have some quiet time together. We'll also have a fire bowl lit outside if you wish to chat quietly with your friends. And I look forward to being here with you. I also want to say one quick thing in support of Dancing in the Streets. This year, they're having a live orchestra. And I wanted to say a huge thank you to Mountain Vista. Because of Mountain Vista's participation, we have a place to rehearse that orchestra, and we have a place to work together. So come on the 21st and 22nd, please do, and come see Nutcracker with Dancing in the Streets. And say hi to the conductor.
All right, some who attend Sunday services by Zoom would like to increase the sense of fellowship by remaining online after the service for our social hour. Bill Killian has agreed to facilitate a few times a month. Other host facilitators are being sought. If you are interested, just stay online following the service and we'll see what happens. On Zoom, you will be able to mingle with others through chat and will get to wave to the sanctuary congregation. Hope to see you after our services today. We transform the future, breaking the hold of lies and misinformation about historically marginalized communities and about science and facts. Our Whole Lives, also known as OWL, classes at MVU begin January 2025. This program offers honest, accurate information about sexuality that changes lives. It dismantles stereotypes and assumptions, builds self-acceptance and self-esteem, fosters healthy relationships, improves decision-making, and has the potential to save lives. For these reasons and more, we are proud to offer OWL, a comprehensive lifespan sexuality education curricula. Please contact Ms. Stacy if you know children in 4th and 5th grades or ages 12 to 15 years old and or in 7th to 9th grade, please have them register. She's also collecting information on those who would like to take the adult course for 18 years and up. For our chalice releasing, A Blessing of Darkness and Light by Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern. Blessed in the dark, in which our dreams stir and are revealed. Blessed in the dark of earth, where seeds come to life. Blessed are the depths of the ocean, where no light shimmers, the womb of all earthy life. Blessed is the light into which we awake, the light that sparkles on the waters, that calls the tree forth from the seed and calls the shadow forth from the tree. Blessed are we as we move through darkness and through the light.